Welcome to another Not Naughty episode. This episode we are heading out into the Marlborough Sounds for the first time in absolutely ages, and pretty much instantly it all goes wrong. We have a genset that's not properly working, we have bow thrusters that are not properly working, we have an engine shut down with ruptured hoses and water everywhere. It is absolute mayhem, so please keep on watching and enjoy the film.
Here's a quick recap from last week's video, part 1 of our first trip this summer. As we moved from our initial anchorage at Double Beach, we had to shut down our port engine as it had developed a leak when a hose clamp failed. The engine room bilge started working its little heart out, the bilge alarm went off, and it was all action stations. Seawater was spraying everywhere from the coolant system in a fine mist, thankfully just coating the battery bank, which was covered in wooden boxes. We were heading to Taken Bay to meet with friends to hit the Portage art market, but now it was going to turn into a couple of days of boat fixing in paradise. Alex is the perfect size for our engine room, so we got stuck into the jobs before heading over the hill or around the point to Portage. Where the kids had a late afternoon swim with their friends off the jetty before we all headed to the craft fair. The girls enjoyed some shopping and Hayley picked up herbs and honey for the boat. Watch to the end to share a nasty squall that took us all by surprise in the middle of the night.
The camera's on a super funny angle, but so am I, and so's the engine room. The failure of this. So this pipe goes into this hose here, and the water was just absolutely gushing out of this one. So if we get this tied back down, then I think we're good to go. All of these other ones are okay for now, but it's illustrated the point around corrosion, and just over time things give. So spare parts, important. Thankfully we've got a heap of these. Right, got spare hose clamp and got all of the necessary bits and pieces. Let's see how easy this is. It's way too big. And this one is already about to break. So it's already got corrosion in it. So that goes in the bin. Right, so it has to be one of these big ones because that's what we've got to work with. Of course, this had to go on the side of the engine up against the wall where there's zero space. And unfortunately, Alex is just a little bit too young to be managing these kinds of tasks. I mean, really, this almost needs a double clamp, I would have thought, but all the other ones have just got a single clamp. Right. We'll give it a run and see how that goes. First, let's try and diagnose what's happening with the batteries. Batteries. Now these are reading at 12.7 volts, or this one, the Genset one. So everything appears good at the battery. There's no point. I can check the cells. There's no point really, they were all freshly topped up. And then that comes out of here, goes around and into the Genset. So tracing the line of where the power cord goes into the Genset, I think that's the next logical stage. So time to take the cover off again. Right, a bit harder today because I've left the floor on so that it's not so disruptive to everyone upstairs. And the engine room isn't boiling hot because the engines haven't been running. So I really don't know what I'm looking for other than the very obvious. Because the engine, the Genset's turned on. There's power to the battery, well the battery has power. And it was working. I'm guessing that's the earth cable. That's where the power comes in. That's where the green earth goes out. And it goes out earthed into the seacock. Which is interesting. But it must be done for a reason. I've given the whole area a look over and I can't see any loose wires at all. We've got power at the battery. I've got a voltmeter, but I've really got no idea even where to start with all of that. There's no loose wires anywhere. Let's just give it a go and see what happens. Nothing. It's like there's no power getting to it at all. Unless there's a fuse. It's blowing somewhere. But again, I don't even know where to start. So the house and gen light isn't on there, which is a digital voltage sense relay. You would think that that would be on and the solar would be charging that. Back in the engine room, just got off the phone with a buddy who is a diesel mechanic and knows a few things about auto electrical stuff. He suggested looking in ye old parts manual book of truth and seeing whether or not there's a circuit breaker or fuses, and lo and behold there is. So I do actually have an electrical diagram for this whole thing, but it's on my computer, which I can't fire up at the moment because we don't have enough power. But in here, I did see, while I was on the phone to him, somewhere is the control box mechanism, and let me find it. Bear with, make a coffee, look outside and enjoy the view. Here's the diagram of the control box. And here is the circuit breaker. So, we know that somewhere is a circuit breaker here, which is possibly the entire culprit. So, what I'm going to do is take the lid off and go hunting. Watch this space. Right, this looks easy. Here we have a helpful wiring guide. However, it means pretty much nothing to me. I don't have a comprehensive grasp of electrical systems at all, which is a real shame and something I'm going to have to rectify sooner rather than later. So really, I'm just looking for fuses somewhere that would indicate push me to reset me, but there's not really anything here that is offering that. There's relays and all sorts of stuff. It's all nicely labelled, but it doesn't really make any difference to me because I don't get what I'm looking at. And it also illustrates that point, or that beautiful saying, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And when you're on a boat, that is so true in so many different instances. So here we have the Genset, which is capable of producing electricity for the boat, 230 volts, 110 volts, charging the batteries and ensuring that we have all of the modern conveniences. Otherwise we're just camping, which is what we're doing now. When this fails, which is what's happened, we got nothing. And so having a little portable generator would be the key to long-term survivability in this sort of situation. We could just fire that up, a little petrol one, and move on with our day. Especially in terms of getting work done, which is what I'm trying to get all this solved for, so that I can keep on working, because boats are expensive. Fixing boats is expensive, so I need to be working all the time. And it kind of, there's a motherboard down here with all sorts of stuff connected to it. It appears everything in here is dry, which is a good thing. But yeah, I can't see any kind of trip switch at all. So maybe this wasn't what I was looking for. Maybe I need to hunt deeper. And there's nothing scarier when you don't know what you're doing than these kind of labels here. Hazardous voltage will cause severe injury or death. Disconnect all electrical supply sources before servicing, which means don't go sticking your fingers in. You know, I take those warnings super seriously. I'm not interested at all in getting electrocuted, even mildly, especially out here. You know, we're a helicopter ride away from a hospital. So I don't want to go fiddling with anything that is going to cause death, just for the sake of having power to charge some devices. Whilst boats this vintage are simple, there's no computers controlling the engines, there's no sort of electronic engine management systems. They're still complicated, especially when it comes to the electrical systems, and if you don't have the knowledge, you're really playing with fire. And I don't have the knowledge, and I'm happy to admit that I don't have the knowledge, so I'm going to stay well clear of things that I don't know enough about. Right, so there is a fuse, 30 amp fuse, attached to the voltage regulator, which is, where is the voltage regulator attached to? Right, so let's find the voltage regulator. And that is toast. So maybe it's as simple as this. Can we see the break in that? So there's definitely a break in that. So have we found the culprit? Let's go and see if we've got backups. Here we have a fuse which is blown, and I've managed to find in my spare parts box a set of fuses which is different. This is wire, and this has a blade going through it. Don't know if you can see. So it's a lot more industrial. It's still a 30 amp fuse. Now I've chatted to our friend who is auto electrician that comes on the boat, and he said that fuse is going to be fine. So fingers crossed we can get this in here. Alright, let's see what happens. Didn't press record.
Mommy didn't press record.
Ah, and what does that mean?
We got power. We got power. Yeah. And you can plug in our phones. And we can make sushi. Okay, I mean, we can make sushi.
We can make sushi.
I know we can make sushi.
Can someone just check that the
And flick it to Jen?
yeah, flick it to Jen.
And we can have broccoli dinner made.
Right, so that's just running solar, pure solar. We've got water coming out. We've now switched it to the inverter, and whoom! Look at that.
Where have you been putting your washing?
Ah,
In my bag.
we're charging.
Yay! Yes!
So 63 amps going in at the moment. This is a guy that doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
There's Max swimming. Alex and Christian. There's the little kid, Bobby, and the little first. Bobby, Susan.
going on? Hayley, what have you got?
I've got chocolate mint and apple mint.
And what else do we get in your little bag of goods?
So if you wait, honey.
And you can ferret around in my bag too, because I got some stuff.
And like a wonder soap, a laundry soap to get stains out.
Right, switcheroo, see my goods. Max tried the lemon honey and was obsessed. And so we got some extra lemons for our gin and tonics and a whole bunch of garlic. Yay! From someone's garden. So that's exciting. This is the not so fun part of boating. We are currently experiencing winds and sea conditions that are completely unforecast. It's 3:30 in the morning. This has been going for hours now, and we are just in the worst possible position. Check this out. And you can see the horizon. The boat is just rocking up and down. We're nose into the wind, nose into the waves. It's about 30 knots, at least 30 knots. And we're on a mooring, thankfully, but we are so close to the shore. So there's the beach over there. It's actually breaking waves. This is not at all fun. So the boat is kicking around, the curtains are waving, and bang. So that's an uncomfortable sound and an uncomfortable feeling. 3:30 in the morning. It's actually almost 4:45. So we're in anchor watch mode. It's actually very hard to stand up. You can see the shore over there. And if the mooring gives way, we've only got about 50 meters before we hit the shore and the rocks. Good morning, folks. So for context, last night was terrible. The waves were horrendous. The wind was 30 to 40 knots. It was all unforecast, so it took us a little bit by surprise. We wouldn't have ordinarily stayed in this bay had we known that, because as it turns out, the wind and the waves were coming right down the entire sound. And the reason why I was so worried about whether or not the mooring would hold, there's the beach. So it's not very far away. It's, 50 meters off the back of the boat. So had the mooring gone, had anything on the mooring broke, a chain or a rope or a shackle, or even if the mooring had slipped a little bit, that's where we would have ended up. Very, very uncomfortable and very scary, and that's why we did anchor watch. So right now we're getting out of here and we're heading back to port. It is low tide, so in the couple of hours it takes us to get back to port, the tide would have risen enough for us to get in, hopefully. But we'll gauge that as we get in, because there's forecast 25 to 29 knot gusts at 10 a.m. So we want to be in port before then. However, we need to recheck those forecasts because that could be what we got last night. Don't know. But we just need to get back today anyway because tomorrow's super windy and the next day even windier than that. So this morning is our time to get back. So let's get going. Time to head to the engine room to see whether or not the repairs I made with that hose clamp have taken and we've got no leaks. This is without a doubt the windiest approach to the marina we've ever done. It must be blowing a hard 25 knots, maybe 30. 25's kind of our limit in terms of comfort, so this is next level, but just check it out. Straight into the wind, so that wind is going to be blowing us off the dock, which is not ideal. Thank you very much for watching and sharing in a little glimpse into our life. We really appreciate being able to share these videos with our friends and family and the wider community online that we are now meeting. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, as all of this really helps our channel grow. We also have a Patreon account now too if you would like to engage with us more and get access to a deeper layer of content as well as some of the art we have been creating along the way. See you in the next video, and we hope you find a way to be a little bit naughty each and every day. Take care.